Hi, I'm Hakasari. Welcome to Reptv. Students of the Diploma in Mass Communication have spent more than 2 months working on a video project with the Singapore Police Force to create awareness on internet scam. In the video, 3 students from Republic Polytechnic shared their bad experiences with online transactions. This is their story.
With the technological advancement, youths nowadays are more prone to online shopping instead of buying the physical items off the shelf. However, shopping online may not be as straightforward as we used to think. According to police crime statistics, online shopping scams are one of the key crime concerns of 2011, which saw an increase of 52% in reported cases. Juliana binti Johari is one of the victims of online shopping scams.
Okay, so I bought these sticky notes online. It's not based locally, it's actually overseas based. It's something like this with all those fanciful notes like today, soon, someday. It's similar like that. I waited for about quite a few months, I think about 3-4 months. I went to check with SingPost and unfortunately they said they couldn't track down the item. And when I tried to email them, I didn't get any response. I was quite disappointed because USD base I think is about 20 plus, but Singapore after they converted I paid like $33. I felt that I've been cheated of my money.
Juliana binti Johari has difficulties getting a refund because it is an overseas online shopping website. But this does not mean that it will be more secure to purchase items from local websites. Elaine has paid $70 for a pair of boots online, but it never arrived.
So I chanced upon this Facebook shop and they sell like shoes. So I ordered and then the person said it will arrive in 1 month's time. So we waited for 1 month and then she said that the supplier is like having troubles and she cannot get the shoes. I was like, can I have my money back? If not, I'm calling police now. And she replied me immediately. Okay, I give you like 1 week to refund me like the $70. Because both pairs of shoes was like $70. Then I just want to get it back. Then after that, I was like, okay. So I waited and then the boyfriend refunded me like finally.
According to the police crime statistics, there is a rising number of online scams where victims did not get the goods they bought and were also cheated into making additional payments. There were 53 cases of such mixed delivery order scams reported in July and August last year, with the total amount cheated at over $40,000. Only 26 such cases were reported for the whole of 2012.
Okay, we are actually very concerned about online scams. So there are a few pointers to take note. Do not divulge your credit card details on unsecured websites. As for overseas transactions, we will tell them not to do it because it has future risk. And the last thing is admin charges. There are always high repetitive admin charges. So these are the reasons why we will tell people not to shop online. The penalty would be up to 10 years jail term and they will be also liable to a fine.
Most people have been cheated because they did not receive their purchased items, but receiving an item which was not as described is also a form of online cheats. Republic Polytechnic second-year student Durga Devi bought a laptop which was not as described and ended up spending more than $500 repairing it.
So I got to see this guy who was selling it on eBay. So I contacted him and he said that he had a MacBook Pro 13-inch. So I arranged a day to go down to his house to collect it with my friend. When I went there, I saw a laptop that was not MacBook Pro 13. It was like a first generation laptop. It was like the older version. It was big and it just looked weird. He even took a picture of the MacBook Pro 13 and sent me. But when I got there, it was like a totally different laptop. But I had no choice but to purchase it. Yeah. 1 to 2 months after I started using the laptop, the motherboard was corrupted, and then slowly the speaker was not working with it. I had to spend more $500 over just to repair it again. And it's a rather old laptop. If I save all those money, right, I could have just bought a new MacBook Pro 13.
According to the police crime statistics, such cases are most prevalent between 2010 and 2011. In that particular year, cases of inducing victims to purchase counterfeit or worthless goods saw a rise of 135% from 37 cases in 2010 to 87 cases in 2011.
Okay, police actually view this case by case basis. So we will encourage the consumer to take this case up with case and also claim it through small claims tribunal.
According to the Police Annual Crime Brief 2013, Singapore recorded the lowest crime rate in 30 years, as the overall crime reported in 2013 fell by 4.3% as compared to 2012. However, there is a discernible trend that scams are migrating to cyberspace.
Overall, the number of cheating involving e-commerce cases increased by 113.9% from 238 cases in 2012 to 509 cases in 2013. Of these cases involving e-commerce, the number of cases involving multiple payment online purchase scams registered a significant increase of 1,550% from 14 cases in 2012 to 231 cases in 2013. The scam involves culprits posing as sellers of smartphones and tablets who would then cheat victims by failing to deliver the goods purchased and yet ask for further payments on the pretext of mixed delivery orders. Victims typically accede to the request for further payment but end up not receiving the item.
The police will continue to raise awareness and educate the community on such scams and fraud using various forms of media and online platforms.
In April, a total of 28 teams from 21 secondary schools participated in the second round of the annual Media Challenge. Participants learned more about public relations and social media marketing strategy. Our student reporters bring you the highlights of the event.
The Media Challenge, organised by Republic Polytechnic's Centre of Enterprise and Communication, came back for the second time this year with 28 teams. Held during a 3-day period, 18th to 19th March and 5 April. Students from various secondary schools came together to compete in this competition in a social media challenge.
I really thought it was very easy from the start, but it's not.
It's a great honour and a good privilege to actually learn and also teach a secondary school student about what is so great about my diploma in itself. So this year we have the digital marketing, which is something that I'm interested in, and especially since we have some of our industry players, major industry players coming here to give us workshops and talks about how to excel in this specific industry.
A series of workshops held by People's Association and Young Movement, Blue Grapes, Two Stallions and Ogilvy helped them grasp the basic concepts and gain more insights to the PR side of media.
Well, the invitation to get industry practitioners to come in for the event itself is going to help them a lot. So they get to hear and accelerate their learning, hearing from the people who are actually have the experience. So it's going to help them in terms of their thinking, their planning, and also be able to get a more cohesive plan together. So tapping on other people's experience is going to help them a lot, leveraging others.
With that, they had to apply the skills acquired to the mini challenge during their field trip on day 2. The 6 places that they visited were Sungai Buloh Nature Reserve, Max Koi Farm, Jurong Frog Farm, Bollywood Veggies, Chuan Hu Fish Farm, and To Kwang Industry. Currently, we are here at Sungai Buloh Wetland Reserve, which is one of the many locations that students will be visiting to do their field work, which is to promote these nature reserves back to the youths.
My favourite part today was going to Bollywood Veggies, and in that, the best thing that they could offer us was the liberty to roam around by ourselves with our groups, and in that we could find exactly what we wanted to, and at the same time find out more about Singapore's rich culture history.
After the mini challenge, students had to think of a social cause for a campaign that they feel needs to be reached out to their audience for their main challenge. They were given a period of about 2 weeks to get likes and comments on their social media sites to get their message across. On the last day, students had to present their ideas to the panel of judges.
I think in general, it was very impressive, given that they had really had a short 1 to 2 weeks time to really prepare for everything. And from my understanding, for the final presentation, they only had 1 hour. So given the short span of time, the students were really good. Some of them didn't even need cue cards. They could just present and speak off from what they remember. So I think the quality overall really is pretty good.
The team that received the most liked photo on their Facebook was Teens Next Door from Raffles Girls' School. The winners for their mini challenge was Matt Puppets Jr. and Senior from Bukit View Secondary and Luminosity from Nanyang Girls High School. For the main challenge, Team Adrenaline from Marsiling Secondary won second runner-up. The first runner-up went to Westwood Secondary, and the champions were Teens Next Door from Raffles Girls Secondary.
It's great. It feels really gratifying that our hard work paid off and that we were doing things right, and we learned a lot from the workshops and all.
I think it was really quite like a good feeling when we saw like that our posts and what we have done really actually went out to so many people, and there were so many people trying to support us in this cause.
Teens Next Door!
In this episode of Reptv, we have an exclusive interview with former President of Singapore, Mr. S.R. Nathan. Mr. Nathan was here in Republic Polytechnic to present a donation of $129,000 to set up the S.R. Nathan Endowment Fund. The Endowment Fund will support bursary awards for deserving students. Our reporter Joshua Kwok has more on the story.
Hi, welcome to Reflections with. I'm Joshua Kwok. On today's show, we have a very special guest, none other than former President S.R. Nathan. Join me as I find out his views on the challenges young people face today. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Joshua. I'll be just asking you a few questions. In an interview at the launch of your new book, you mentioned that young people today will be facing much harder challenges than their parents. What do you think is the toughest challenge that young people face today?
One challenge is the temptations that come to you in the course of your life, which you are not able to meet. So I see young people in the hotels, providing service in functions, students, and when you ask them, why are you doing this? They say, I want to earn some money to buy a Gucci bag. The possessing something has become a kind of craving. So we are getting into a society where greed has become an important part of life. Even top bankers are greedy. So young people face a lot of moral difficulties.
In your book, 50 Stories from My Life, you mentioned that you were in fact thrown out of school twice before even reaching the age of 17. If you could give one piece of advice to your 17-year-old self, what would it be?
One thing they must know is there's no permanency in life. Just because you are poor, you're not always going to remain poor. Or just because you are rich, you're going to always remain rich. So life is a change, is a transition. So there's no permanency in life. You must be prepared to face somebody better off than you, and yet find contentment in yourself.
You've gone through a lot in life that has brought you to where you are today. What do you think is the most significant factor that has brought you here today?
Somebody comes and tells you, you got a good head, you're capable. It's very encouraging. That was the beginning of my road. Because my school said I'm hopeless. I couldn't do anything. But somebody told me, you've got a good head. And then I moved on from there.
What's the secret to a lasting marriage?
Give and take. Sometimes you pretend to be deaf. Sometimes you shut your mouth. Sometimes you must know when to shut your mouth. Okay, so it's a matter of give and take.
Thank you very much for your time, sir. That's all we have for today's show. Once again, I'm Joshua Kwok reporting for Reptv, signing off.
That wraps up this episode of Reptv. I'm Haikal Sari. Thank you for watching.